Good morning to all my compatriots of the United States, fellow Americans. I'm here because I have to denounce what's happening. I saw a video on a page. I just don't remember which page it was. Let me see if I can get it right here right away because I just have to write down everything a lot of things that I write here. Well, there was a group of Antifa who calls us fascists, but they were beating up a reporter and the people that worked with the reporter, and they stole the equipment. Thank God they had these Android phones where they could video what was happening because they stole the equipment. These people don't believe in freedom of the press. They call us the fascists, but and they say we're the terrorists, and they say we are the racists, and they're beating us up. Look, they did it to a kid. I think what the Antifa people that were persecuting the reporter and beating the people up was in Oregon, the state of Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. If anybody can correct me, maybe I'm wrong. But I believe it was in Oregon. I didn't write that down, that detail. But I believe I heard it was in Oregon. And then you got another group of African American kids beating up this white kid because he had a MAGA hat. Can you believe that? A MAGA hat, make America great again? That offends the people that to make America great again. They don't want to see it great. They hate it. They're unhappy, and infuriates them to see that people are pursuing their happiness. It's like the Constitution guaranteed us, the pursuit of happiness. That infuriates the communists. That's what they are, a bunch of communists, and they have Islamic people involved too. Because I've seen them raise flags of ISIS and have the bandana of the terrorist organization of Hamas, and I think it's Hamas, which is a white scarf with black dots, which identifies with a terrorist, with the Islamic terrorist organization. Even American people who are not Islam or not Arabs using it. American using that because they identify with the movement. That means they believe in terrorism. They believe that death to all those who don't believe in the form of thinking. And like I said, you had this group of African American kids in a school bus, beating up a kid like I think it was like 10 years old, and the kid had to go to the hospital because of that. A teacher attacks a student because she had a pin that supports Trump. Well, I think it was Women for Trump. And because of that, she attacked her. She attacked the student. And then they had the gall to call us fascist and racist. But they're the ones that are prohibiting us to practice our freedom, our right to freedom of expression, of peaceful assembly and speech and movement. They're the ones who want to get the power to impose the communist way of life, and God forbid, the Islamic are the one who take over. Well, the communist is even worse because at least in many of the Islamic countries, at least you can just free open, how you call it, freedom to market and sell goods. And capitalism, a form of there is capitalism in a lot of these places. But in ISIS, it was brutal, the oppression. It was criminal. It was deadly. But in the communists, it's neither. It's none. It's no freedom of free market. No freedom of expression. No nothing. No nothing there. No nothing. You live under that system and you complain. You know, as good as you're dead. As good as that. They'll fire you from your job. Imagine, for example, the people of Cuba, if they didn't have families to send them money, because a lot of them survive because they got families who sends uh, money through the mail or through, I think, the telegram or some, you know, there's a lot of ways of doing it. But, you know, they receive it. They receive it, even though they have to pay a 20% to the regime, to the dictatorship. They'll charge them a 20%. And that gives them the right, if they're quiet and don't say a word, to go with that money and buy things, necessary things which they need, or in desperate need of, like medicine, food, clothes. But they're limited in the form of transportation. Some of them, if they're lucky, they might be able to buy a motorcycle, if they're lucky. And their family's rich enough to help them finance something like that, some type of transportation like that. But otherwise, you know, they don't have anything. Or maybe a bicycle as a form of transportation. And the best is, like I said, a motorcycle, which could help them transport themselves to a farther distance. But otherwise, they're out of luck. Why these people, the Democrat Party, let me put it this way, why the Democrat Party is trying to discredit and impeach a president for the things they're doing. They're the ones committing treason. We have seen it in the case of Hunter Biden, the son of Biden, Joe Biden. Pelosi has a son who's also involved in corruption. All these people have a dark background, which you have them all in prison, and they haven't done a day. They haven't done a day. Nothing is done to them. The FBI hasn't visited them or hasn't visited them and arrested them and taken them off. You know what they'll do? They'll go to the conservative. They're doing the same thing that doing in Europe, the Muslim. If you complain of Islam, Merkel and in England, I don't know who's in charge there, I forget. And in France too, they won't go after the terrorists, they'll go after you. The one who complains, hey, wait a minute, what's happening here? If they kick you out of the apartment like they're doing in these European countries to accommodate a Muslim, can you believe this? I wanted to say a word, but I can't. This crap. They'll take you, a senior. Let's say, because I was reading about seniors being kicked out of the apartments to accommodate Muslims, nationals of the country, the seniors, the most vulnerable of the population, besides the children, kicked out of the apartments to accommodate a terrorist ethnic group. You know, I wouldn't mind if they were Christians. But you know what they're doing? They're banning Christians from being able to flee their country, and they let them be slaughtered. They let them be slaughtered by these terrorists. They're eliminating all religions that's un-Islamic. That's why you see all these nations turn to Islam. And you got people just as ignorant here in the United States. I wish everybody could hear this lady, Gabrielle, Bridget Gabrielle, who speak her experience living in Lebanon, the pearl of the Middle East at one time. Now it's destroyed by the Muslims. They took over and they destroyed it. They killed a lot of Christians who helped try to help them out to gain civil rights. It was the worst mistake they ever did. And in the United States, you got people that are just as stupid. I gotta say this one. I was gonna say ignorant, but the word stupid is the one that's appropriate for them. They wanna they support these people. Michael Moore is one of them. They say, "I am Islam," and other people saying the same thing. And they don't know that once they're in power, they're gonna die. They're gonna go out to them. Hey, I was the one who helped you out. Oh, you're an infidel. Pa. That happened. Bridget Gabriel can tell you about that because I didn't live through that. She lived through that. She was even prohibited of getting water. They would shoot at her. She was miraculously saved, I think, by going to Israel. They saved her. I think it was that way. But my mind doesn't, I wouldn't tell you to confide in what I'm saying here because a lot of things I forget. I just can't remember a lot of details. But Bridget, if you go to the videos of Bridget Gabrielle, I forget the title of it, her movement, but she can explain it. And she can clearly tell you what happened in her country because he experienced it. I didn't. I'm just reading from what I see. And in the videos that I see what's happening there. And a lot of the videos have been banned by Facebook, by YouTube, because you don't see the beheadings. You don't see the massacres that are occurring over there. You can only read it on like Jihad Watch, which LinkedIn has prohibited from participating in their page. Because when I try to share it, I can share it on Facebook. Thank God, still. I can share it on Twitter, but then I can't share it on LinkedIn unless I go to my phone, my cellular phone, which is an Android. And there I can go and pass it on. And I don't know if it's going through because these people that are in charge of manipulating their page, they have some experts that can just, no matter if you think if you're sharing it, that it might not even be being pasted. Sometimes I just don't have enough time, so I don't go into the page to find out if it was. Sometimes I do. But like I say, these people should be in prison. Why aren't they in prison? Why are they allowed to do this? What's happening? I don't know if I think Trump is doing a great job, but there must be something that's detaining him. Because remember, he has to use logic. He has to be very careful. Because if he does something, because they're trying to impeach him one way or another. They're trying to remove. They know he's going to win, but they're trying to use an illegal way or an excuse to remove him. Something that they can base a base for the impeachment, where they can remove him physically. So I think he's trying to use a lot of tactics. But something should be done to them. What's the FBI? Why the FBI is not involved going in there and saying, wait a minute, what's happening with your police force, and take over and start arresting these people, or go to their homes and arrest them at 3 o'clock in the morning. See how they like it. and put them in prison, including children, because you got this case of these African American children who attacked, brutally beat this like 10 years old kid to the point where he had to be hospitalized. And they beat him brutally. I couldn't believe it. You know, I wouldn't even be surprised if someday some kid tired of this crap would bring an illegal gun with him and kill some of these kids. It could happen because, you know, it gets to the point where they're going to have to arm myself. And when they come to attack him, pam, 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 5 dead. And it's not the kid's fault. It's the state's fault for not imposing stricter sanctions and incarcerating these people and permitting, how they call it, a state where crime is permitted. You know, I just forget the name of what they're calling it, the sanctuary cities. Thank God I'm not all that bad. But you know, that should be stopped. That shouldn't be permitted. They should find the hell out of these states that permit that. Permitted sanctuary cities where everything goes, where crime and everything, murder and all kinds of crap, and crapping physically in the streets, and converting them into ghettos and deteriorating to the point where it stinks. How are they going to let that happen? Trump, you know, I would like to know. You know, I I think you're the greatest president I've seen in my lifetime. But why is this being permitted? Why isn't it? You know, the Attorney General Bill Barr. What's happening? Why can't these people be persecuted or arrested? This teacher that attacked the student because she was wearing a pin. I think it was the students or girls or ladies or girls for Trump, something like that. And she attacked the student, this liberal lunatic teacher. Why isn't she arrested? Why is she fired from her job and arrested? So, you know, God bless my country. God bless you. God bless everybody. I pray for my country every day. I pray for my president because he's doing a hell of a good job, and his whole family. That nothing happens to him. That God will protect him against this communist and Islamic movement. And against Nazism, the extreme right. I'm against that too. But you don't see none of the conservatives do anything like the atrocities that Antifa and other people are doing. You know, they're not Nazis. The one of the Nazis are the ones that are committing the crimes like Antifa. They're the Nazis. Because if you see what they're doing and the liberals, the way they react and the way they're trying to prohibit us expressing ourselves, they're the true Nazis. So the last, like I said, God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. God bless my island here in Puerto Rico. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.